Six former Cy Young winners pitching tonight, so it got us thinking. Have these guys name their top six pitchers going back just from 2000 and beyond. We don't make it an all-time, make it a little crazy. So, top six pitchers, Danny. Give me number six.
I'm going to go with Tim Lincecum. We forgot how good he was, and he was such a very important part of where the San Francisco Giants were going in the early part of the 2000s. Not a very big guy, but boy, could he get it done. Big overhand curveball, and he went deep into games. Very unorthodox mechanics. There were a lot of people. His father was one of his main pitching instructors. He picked up the straight changeup later on, almost a split finger. But boy, was he good with the San Francisco Giants. We forget how good he was because he was such a small guy, and he just didn't do it over a long period of time. But gosh, he was a good pitcher.
Yeah, big part of that, the Giants dynasty back in 2010, 12, and 14.
Yeah.
Number six?
King Felix Hernandez. And when you think about longevity and what you need out of your starters consistently, for me, it was 30-plus starts in 10 straight seasons, friend. That is just going out there, know you can give him the baseball every fifth day.
Another guy got a huge contract and pitched through it all the way. Yeah,
pitched through it. I mean, the fans out there love him. Had his K-zone, and the one thing that stands out other than Cy Young is 169 wins. Yeah. I put a lot of emphasis on the wins, 3.42 ERA. And I just, when he had the ball, we talked about it earlier, there's a calmness amongst that clubhouse when you walk through the doors and know King is pitching. All right, we all good. Let's keep it moving.
Number five, Dan?
Number five for me. Hello, Chief. It's Max Scherzer. This guy, and when you think about it, the beginning of his career with the Diamondbacks, the word around a lot of people in baseball was that his mechanics and his arm wasn't going to hold up. And so I think that's one of the reasons why the D-backs thought, okay, maybe we should move this guy. And I'll never forget when Jim Leyland had a dilemma. Who did he start in game one in the postseason series? Did he go with Justin Verlander, who would have been the safe pick, or Max Scherzer? And that was kind of the changing of the guard. He is still one of the elite pitchers. And Fran, he has a lot of good baseball left despite his age. He works hard, keeps himself in great shape. We have not heard the last of Max Scherzer.
At 4-2 of the 2.24 ERA so far this year, and it's the first of three tonight for Max. And the Nationals, they take on the Reds. All right, so number five.
The unit, Brady Johnson. And, it's one of those things for me is when you look at him winning the Cy Young in the NL, years 2000, 2001, in 2002, age 36, 37, and 38, by the way. These are his years with the D-backs and the Yankees. But I just look at how dominant he was. And you know what, Fran? It was a reason why I didn't face him. Because when you think, I didn't face him much because when you think about how dominant he was, every lefty in your lineup, I don't care how great he was, you struggle when Brady Johnson was on the mound. That's just the nature of the beast. I don't care if he's in fourth or whatever, you struggle. He was dominant and deserving to be on this list.
Dave Valley's in the building, and he'll be working, I know, on MLB Tonight a little bit later on. Caught Randy Johnson for quite a bit. Number four,
I'm going to go with CC Sabathia, and this guy was a terrific player. You're talking about punching some tickets. This guy could punch some tickets. Came up with a lot of fanfare early on with the Cleveland Indians, and he was going to save the Indians, and he lived up to expectation. He had so many great runs, but Fran, that run with the Milwaukee Brewers, he single-handedly carried a team that was a good team, not a great team, to the postseason. A tremendous pitcher, a World Series champion with the Yankees. He's going to go down, since I've been at MLB Network, as one of my favorites, and he was fun to watch. He competed, and even at the end, he was figuring and finding new ways to get it done. I'm a big fan of CC. He'll be in the Hall of Fame, too.
Over 3,000 strikeouts and over 250
wins. You see him now?
Yes. Oh, he's more chiseled than you.
Oh, he's fitting in every suit. I mean, he's looking great, boy. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it, man.
Number four?
Justin Verlander for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and look, the numbers speak for themselves, but I think when you look at winning a Cy Young, two-time Cy Young AL winner, and then 11 seasons of 15 or more wins, I put a lot of emphasis on that because, if you want to win a chip, you need a guy to go out there and win your ball games. Led the MLB in innings in 2019 at age 36. And when you watch him and what he did with the Astros right here, as far as his dominance and getting them over the hump, they needed that one guy to get them over the hump to win the World Series. He didn't lose a game that year. And that's the importance of making these trades at the break or whenever you need them to get you over the hump to win you that, that chip to take home, and Justin Verlander's that guy.
And by the way, that was the second trade deadline, not the first. And then
that was the second.
We were minutes and seconds away from that happening. All right, these lists are unbelievable here. I can't wait for 3 up to 1.
I'm going to go number 3, Justin Verlander. I'm on board with you, Cliff. This guy is a tremendous pitcher. And when you think about the Tigers in that run, he was front and center, and a big game guy that has no-hit stuff. He was must-see TV, and something tells me that we have not heard the last of Justin Verlander. He's driven, he's motivated. I think in 2022, he will be pitching again. He will be pitching well. And this guy is on a one-way ticket right to Cooperstown. He's a first-ballot Hall of Fame guy.
Totally agree. Here we go. Pressure's on. Number 3.
I'm going with Max Scherzer. And, it's simple for me. He had 2,860 career strikeouts. As a hitter, you don't like it. And obviously, as a guy, when you look at his record over the course, and I'll put a lot of emphasis on the record because, again, I'll say this, it's important. 179 and 95 record speaks for itself as far as wanting to be out there and wanting to bet baseball long into that night. Max Scherzer is that guy. He wants every minute of every opportunity to be special. And he did it for a long time.
76 strikeouts so far this year. It's third in the National League. Number 2, sir.
Man, this list is triple.
Yeah, number 2 for me is Roy Halladay, R.I.P., rest in peace. I'll tell you what, I played with him when he first broke into the big leagues with the Toronto Blue Jays, and you talking about a horse, an innings eater, quiet guy, didn't say a whole lot, transformed his game, was up really quick, sent back down all the way to A-ball, met with pitching coach Mel Queen. They reconstructed his delivery. He's still the only guy that I've ever seen that was a good pitcher that went from a high 3/4 to a low 3/4 angle. We see guys dabbing with different arm angles, but he's the only guy I've seen that completely changed his arm angle from up high to down low and stayed with it and was nastier. There was a point for about 4 years where he was the baddest dude on the planet. And if it was a 9-inning game, a 12-inning game, he was starting it. He would finish it. One of the hardest workers I've ever played with, Roy Halladay. He was such a good pitcher. It was just lost, unfortunately, playing in Toronto. It took him getting to the Philadelphia Phillies for people to go, wow, this guy, he was a great pitcher and deservedly in the Hall of Fame.
I love that.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Jake Degrom. Look, I don't know if we have to say, you already spoke on it earlier, Dan, but I think he's just so special, and you look at his mechanics, it's easy. You look at the late life on his fastball, it's something different. And look, Dan can speak to more pitching and about how great these guys were, because I didn't like talking about them or facing them. But when you talk about Jake, I was just with a guy that I went to high school with and played this game a long time, Mark Mulder.
Okay.
He says, look, the best pitcher in the sport, the guy that should never get hit ever is Jake Degrom. And I said, you're right. Because when he goes out there, he's the guy that you're thinking on any given night can throw a no-hitter, right? He's going to make the mistake. And you're going to miss a lot of pitches because every pitch is coming out of the same slot and it looks nasty. And you have this window and every hitter's looking at it and you still can't hit it. But you're always preparing like you got a shot at the title with him. And when you look at his career, his career ERA, 2.54 right now. It's the 4th best in the last 100 years.
Wow.
That's just different, and it's special. And all they have to do is keep him healthy, and he'll be in Cooperstown having a long speech.
Until you were with Mark Mulder. He's a great golfer, by the way.
Great golf.
Were you on the links with him?
Yeah, I was playing with him.
Oh, you
yeah,
were
he different out there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, course management.
Yeah, how much money did he take from you?
Hey, look here. We're going to keep it moving on that one.
Okay, all right.
But, it was good.
All right, so we're going to do the number 1 a little differently. I'm going to have you guys say number 1 at the same time. All right, so ready? We'll go down from 3.
Okay.
Ready? All right, 3, 2, 1.
Kershaw.
Wow, I didn't even know the answer to that.
I know.
Huh? Dan, you go first, huh?
Fran, he's what they look like. That's all I can tell you. And he's a different pitcher now. But he burst on the scene with the LA Dodgers, and he's the modern version of Sandy Koufax. He's transformed his game from a young guy that had a difficult time throwing strikes early on. He had that big 12-6 curveball. He brought that slider into play about 7 or 8 years ago. He can carve you up in multiple different ways. We saw last year in the postseason when he's rested. I thought I made the statement last year. I thought he would pitch well because it was the best shape that his body was in about 6 years. And I didn't want to knock him in a couple of the postseasons, Fran, but he had some lower back injuries, and he just wasn't right going into the postseason. And that kept him, I think, from shining and being the pitcher that he is. And I really believe if he gets another chance this October, the Dodgers will space his workload. He's not a 240-inning guy anymore, but who is at this point of his career? But since I've been at this network in 2009, he's the best starting pitcher from beginning to end over a long period of time. He also, right on his print a ticket out to Cooperstown because he's going there.
Just 10 seconds, because I know how much you love him. No Jacob Degrom. Is that body of work? Like not enough?
He'll be on the seat right behind Clayton Kershaw. He's going to Cooperstown.
No, but I'm saying on your list. So that's why.
I was just trying to, from the 2000s. I'm looking. Of course, Jacob Degrom, in my opinion, he's the best pitcher in the sport right now.
All right.
Yeah, it was a tough list. I mean, he talked about CC. I saw CC, and I think with Clayton, it's more of just the pressure of being as dominant and being number one. Friend, you can be a part of top 5, and you see these cats all around, the game are really good pitchers, but when you can separate yourself and look at what stands out the most and keeping not just your team there, but, keeping runs off the board consistently throughout every start. That's what he did for 10 straight seasons. You're not scoring more than 2 runs off Clayton Kershaw. Bottom line, write it down, take a picture, and send them to the house because you know what you're going to get. That's the pressure that not a lot of players, they might say they want that. Right. You don't want that because he held #1 title for a long time based on the fact that nothing mattered to him. He knew what he was going to go out there and do. The team behind him knew what they had to do, and it was just great to see if you like pitching. Right. It's great to see it, but if you like the game and you want to see home runs, then not go to that game.